We're here at Georgetown University Law Center for ABI's Views on the Bench program. We're just visiting with Jim Van Horn. He's in the DC office of Barnes and Thornburg. Just came off a panel on avoidance issues in bankruptcy. Very complex area of the law, Section 548, Section 550, preferences, fraudulent conveyances, constructive fraudulent conveyance. I mean, just all kinds of issues here, very fact intensive.
Yes.
Right? So my question is, how would you explain the concept, the principle behind this unique and powerful tool in the bankruptcy toolbox?
Sure. So one provision of the bankruptcy code that Congress put in place is for a finite period of time before a bankruptcy filing by a debtor, any payments that the debtor made to certain creditors that were made in a greater amount than were made to other creditors. In other words, did a specific creditor receive more than they should have gotten pre-bankruptcy for whatever reason versus other creditors? The bankruptcy code provides a mechanism for a finite period of time prior to the bankruptcy filing to allow the estate to refer to as claw back or recover, avoid the transfer and recover the amount of those transfers to bring back into the bankruptcy estate in order then to distribute them evenly among all creditors. So,
conceptually, that's a tough thing to explain, particularly if you think of foreign jurisdictions.
Oh, yes.
Where now that we're trying to apply U.S. law to extraterritorially, in the case of Madoff,
yes.
That had to have been a shock to a lot of the Madoff.
Without question. So the issue that is potentially up for, well, it is up for Supreme Court review if they take the case. One of my fellow panelists, Luke Barefoot, his firm filed a cert petition on this issue, which we talked about. The Second Circuit earlier this year ruled that if a fraudulent transfer we were just discussing under Section 548 originated in the U.S., then that action can proceed in foreign jurisdictions or proceedings that, as you point out, may have no comprehension of the U.S. system of recovery and what Congress intended to do. And that is something that the U.S. Supreme Court might be determining.
Right. So the U.S. bankruptcy law casting an extra wide, long shadow over transactions all over the world.
Yes, and the key point was if according to the Second Circuit, is because the transaction or the transfer originated in the U.S. That's sort of the nexus that they start with to make that. But, I'm sure foreign jurisdictions will have different views on, on that issue, certainly.
I get comedy and all that other good stuff. Great.
Yes.
Great to talk with you, Jim.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you for doing our panel today.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
And thank you for joining us at Views on the Bench this year.